Share with you two things that I have learned about why it is that some fathers lose contact with their biological children, or become deadbeat dads or absent fathers. The first thing that I want to share with you is that when we're talking about fathers who lose contact with their children, I think we have to specify which era we're talking about, because I think all of us can agree pretty much all over the world, whether we're talking about Egypt, we're talking about Lithuania, we're talking about Morocco, whether we're talking about the 1800s, men have, in one way, form or another, some of them abandoned their children. There's always been a small proportion of men who basically just haven't been there. They've either run off, they've moved to a different place, they've relocated, or they've died, or whatever it is. There's always been a small proportion of men. I think we all, if you do the maths, there's always going to be some people who just don't fit with the rules. But what I've learned is that a lot of whenever I've spoken to men, particularly men who are under the age of 30 today, and I've said to them about the prevalence of men who abandon their children, many of these men get very, very upset and they become very angry at me. And part of the reason why this is because we are so used to, and we've been so propaganded into believing that all men abandon their children, that we've forgotten that basically it's the cohort of men from about 1950 leading up to about 2000 that are the vast majority of men who abandon their children. So in that, there's about two generations, the boomers and all of those. So those who were born sort of 1950 leading up to about 2000, 1995, somewhere like that, a huge amount of men abandon their children. So a lot of men have changed. Today, when I go and do workshops and assemblies in schools all over across Southwest London, I'm shocked at how many men are at the gates. I'm shocked at how many men change their nappies and they want to do skin-to-skin contact. So I think it's really important that we understand that, because it is vital. The men of today, as in 2025, are not the same men as who were raising children and abandoning children in 1967. The last thing, which I know I'm short on time today, is that the social and economic things that are happening around affect how many men show up. So, for example, in the 1970s and 80s and 60s and 50s, it was not pushed for men to be in their children's lives emotionally, whereas today it is, meaning that the outside world influences how men behave, fathers.